You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for our Black and White Sports 2. Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa and his concussions. He got another concussion yesterday, and it was another concussion that was missed by the Dolphins, by the NFL, by the spotters. And boy, this is starting to look worse and worse. Now you have ex-NFL players, Booger McFarland, some other players that are now urging, Robert Griffin III, they're urging Tua to hang it up for the season. And if he's staring right at his third concussion of the year, I would say it's probably a good idea if he goes ahead and sits out the rest of the season. Now, if we want to just take a trip down memory lane, this issue looks very bad for the NFL. This is the original one right here. This is the Bills. Okay, this is the one that was 4 days before that highly public Bengals concussion on Amazon Network. The only game on that everybody saw that bad concussion where Tua's fingers curled up from the neurological response. Boom, he hit his head right there. And he was visibly shaken then, okay? And what was amazing there, and then he goes down. So when I was watching that, I saw that live, that was Red Zone. I saw it on Red Zone. And my first response to my wife was, oh my God, he's got a bad concussion. They need to get him the hell out of there. Well, of course, they came back and said, well, no, it was his back. And I was like, no, that's not his back. That's neurological. There's no way that's his back. You could tell he got his bell rung. But, look, Tua coming into the season, there was some worry that maybe Tua would not keep that job, right? Teddy Bridgewater sitting behind him, a guy that started a hell of a lot of NFL games. And the thought process was, Teddy Bridgewater might take that job away from Tua. If Tua can't play, he might take it away and he might keep it, okay? And some people believe that may be factored in for Tua. Nobody knows, really. And then there's the Bengals hit. And, of course, he kind of curls up and his fingers go out in that stuck position. It was, very, very public. The NFL got involved. Dolphins doctor got fired. And here we have yesterday. This is Larry Brown Sports. We'll have Yahoo. Tua Tagovailoa may have played through another concussion. It's crazy to think here we are. Tua Tagovailoa has once again landed in the NFL's concussion protocol, and there is a chance the Miami Dolphins quarterback played through another head injury in Week 16. Tua Tagovailoa's head bounced off the turf on a hit late in the second quarter of Miami's loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. It should be noted, he was playing pretty good up to that point, and then the wheels fell off. You can see the play below, which many suspect is the play where he got concussed. So let's just take a look real fast. And it's sort of like a whip. Bam! I mean, you could tell. He comes around, and look at his body sling to the ground. Boom! His head off the turf. Again, his head off the turf, just like against the Bills. Okay, four games prior to the Bengals. Tagovailoa remained in the game and played very poorly in the second half. He threw interceptions on each of the Dolphins' final 3 offensive possessions, which is the biggest reason for the team's 26-20 loss. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel told reporters on Monday that he is unsure of when Tagovailoa, it's Tagovailoa, may have suffered his latest head injury. He said nobody recognized any issues during the game, and Tagovailoa spoke with the trainers about his symptoms on Monday. Wow. During the game, nobody recognized anything with regards to a hit. It was something he met with doctors today and discussed symptoms. All right. So this is the comments that came out from Booger McFarland and Robert Griffin III. Steve Young also made some comments. This was during Monday Night Football. Quote, Tua Tagovailoa shouldn't play anymore this season. If the NFL is serious about health, safety, and concussions. Griffin, when we talk about these head injuries, it's nothing to play with, Griffin said. You've got to put the person ahead of the player. I'm more concerned about Tua, his longevity in life, than I am about whether he's going to play on Sunday. He should not play for the rest of the season. All right? This is what Steve Young said. By the way, Young's career ended due to concussions and to a final real bad one he had. I'm a 49ers fan, so I vividly remember that situation. In fact, Steve Young's my favorite NFL player of all time. Quote, the final frontier of medical science is the brain, Young said. We as players do not understand or have any insight into how much risk is involved with our heads. We don't know, and medical science can't really tell us. In the end, we're out there every day risking something we can't assess. So Tua goes jumping back in there. I recognize how difficult this is for the NFL, how much is at stake. We're going to have to be serious about it. We're going to be able to test somebody pre-game, and then they're out for the game. Yeah. Emmanuel Acho, also, this is on Speak for Yourself, I assume, because that's the show he's usually on FS1. Quote, you've got to shut Tua down for the season, Acho said. Period. No conversation, no discussion, no second thoughts. You've got to shut him down for the season. It is better to be safe than sorry. The Dolphins have already been sorry once this season. And look, just from a football standpoint of the Dolphins, you've got a guy that is a borderline starting quarterback anyway on the bench in Teddy Bridgewater. Okay, Teddy Ballgame can run that Dolphins offense. Highly accurate, veteran quarterback. Probably could be starting for what? 3, 4, 5 teams right now, this very second. And it would be a better quarterback situation than they got on the field. Guys that are trying to start around the league. I mean, let's be honest. I'd take Teddy Bridgewater over Zach Wilson any day of the week. How good would Teddy Bridgewater look in Denver right now? Again. You know, you get my point, right? So it's not like quarterback play would just drop off the face of the earth for the Dolphins, and Tua's been struggling anyway, right? This could go very badly for the NFL, okay? The NFL is going to have to weigh, if we put him out on the field, what if something happens on the field, right? Publicly, very publicly, in the way that it happened during the Bengals game. Does the NFL become liable in some way if they allow him to go out there and play the rest of the season? This is officially extremely public. Okay, and now a lot of attention is shined on this, and it's Tua again, and there's already starting to be some blowback on the Dolphins for the Dolphins not catching this, for the NFL not catching it, and now we found out Tua played with the concussion. They think from that moment in the game, 2:40 left, going into halftime, he played an entire 2:40 plus the entire rest of the next half, potentially concussed. It's a bad look for the NFL in a very bright spotlight-filled place for the NFL to be right now, because everybody is zeroed in on the NFL when it comes to concussions, particularly with Tua. I don't know. This is a point where I think the NFL has got to shut Tua down. I truly do. If he's got symptoms, if he came out on Monday and said he had symptoms, then I think you probably got to put him in the protocol and you got to keep him out. I think Tua, in my opinion anyway, and look, I I am of the ilk that we're way too cautious and coddle. A lot of NFL players, a lot of athletes are coddled, this, that, and the third. But in this particular case, I almost feel like, yeah, you know what? Shut him down for the rest of the year. Now, I don't know, maybe because I watched so much Alabama football. I watched every game Tua played in college, and then watching him come up, it seems like I've been watching Tua play forever. And I'm not an Alabama fan per se, but I also, to be honest, I root for Alabama in nearly every game they play in. Against whoever as long as they're not playing Michigan, I'm probably rooting for Alabama in whatever game they're playing in. So, I don't know. I think he probably ought to be shut down. I truly do. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. This could get ugly for Roger Goodell and the league. And if he goes out there and he gets hurt again, or if they let him play and then they find out after the season that he's still having some issues, concussions end NFL careers. Troy Aikman's, Steve Young's are the two that most, of course, vividly stand out in my mind of two great quarterbacks that just, they had to call it quits because of concussions, right? Peace. I'm out. Till next time, Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First, 25% off USA First. Go now.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.